What if I told you that a man who cleaned toilets for a living fought his own government in court for 6 years, lost everything, and still became a billionaire? What if I told you he did it without corruption, without shortcuts, and without compromising his faith? This is the story of Strive Masiyiwa, and what you're about to hear will challenge everything you think you know about success, persistence, and fighting for what's right. Strive Masiyiwa was born on January 29, 1961, in what was then Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. His birth name was actually Strive because his parents wanted him to always remember to strive for excellence. But Strive's childhood was far from excellent. When he was just 7 years old, his parents sent him away from home. Not because they didn't love him, but because Rhodesia was in the middle of a brutal war for independence. Black Africans were fighting against white minority rule. It was dangerous. Children were dying.
Strive's parents made the painful decision to send him to Kitwe, Zambia, to live with relatives and attend school safely. It was supposed to be temporary, but temporary turned into years. Young Strive felt abandoned. He didn't understand why his parents sent him away. He lived with relatives who treated him more like a servant than family. He had to wake up early, do chores, and often went to bed hungry. At school, Strive was bullied. Other children made fun of his worn-out clothes and the fact that he was living with relatives instead of his parents. One boy told him, "You're not wanted, that's why your parents sent you away." Those words hurt deeply, but Strive used that pain as motivation. He studied harder than everyone else. He stayed late at the library. He was determined to prove he was worth something.
When Strive was 12 years old, his parents managed to move to Zambia to be with him. They had lost everything in the war, but they were together. His father found work as a laborer. His mother did domestic work. Money was scarce, but love was abundant. Strive's father would tell him, "Son, education is the only weapon we have against poverty. Study hard. Make something of yourself." Strive took those words to heart. He excelled in school and eventually won a scholarship to study at the University of Wales in the United Kingdom. It was a dream come true. A poor African boy from a war-torn country was going to study in Europe. But when Strive arrived in Wales in 1983, reality hit hard. The scholarship covered tuition, but not living expenses. Strive had to work to survive.
He took whatever jobs he could find. He washed dishes in restaurants. He cleaned toilets in office buildings. He worked night shifts as a janitor while studying electrical engineering during the day. His British classmates would see him cleaning the bathrooms and laugh. One student said, "Look at the African boy. He came all the way to the UK to clean our toilets." Strive felt humiliated, but he remembered his father's words. He kept studying, he kept working, he kept pushing. After graduating with an engineering degree in 1986, Strive returned to Zimbabwe. The country had gained independence in 1980 and there was hope for a new beginning. Strive got a job at the national telephone company as an engineer, but Strive quickly became frustrated. The telephone system in Zimbabwe was terrible. People waited years to get a phone line installed. The government-owned company was inefficient, corrupt, and didn't care about customers.
Strive thought there has to be a better way. What if we allowed private companies to compete? What if we brought mobile phone technology to Zimbabwe? In 1993, Strive made a bold decision. He quit his stable job and started his own telecommunications company called Econet Wireless. His vision was simple: bring affordable mobile phones to every Zimbabwean. But there was one massive problem. The Zimbabwean government had a monopoly on telecommunications. They didn't want competition. They didn't want to give licenses to private companies. Strive applied for a license to operate. The government rejected him. He applied again, rejected again. He kept applying, they kept rejecting. Finally, Strive did something that shocked everyone. He decided to sue the Zimbabwean government. He took them to court, arguing that their monopoly was unconstitutional and that citizens deserved better telecommunications services.
People thought he was insane. Friends told him, "Strive, you can't fight the government. They will crush you." But Strive believed he was right. He believed in justice. He believed in his vision. The legal battle lasted 6 years. 6 years. During those 6 years, Strive lost everything. He had invested all his money into preparing Econet. He had borrowed money from banks. He had mortgaged in his house. Now, with no license to operate, he had no income. The banks wanted their money back. He was on the verge of bankruptcy. His wife Tsitsi stood by him. She would tell him, "Strive, I believe in you, keep fighting." But there were nights when Strive sat alone, wondering if he had made the biggest mistake of his life. He had given up a stable job, risked his family's future, and was now drowning in debt.
He prayed constantly. Strive is a devout Christian, and his faith was the only thing keeping him going. He would say, "God, if this is your will, please open the door. If not, give me peace to walk away." In 1998, after 6 long years, the Zimbabwean Supreme Court ruled in Strive's favor. The court declared that the government's telecommunications monopoly was unconstitutional. Strive had won. He was given a license to operate Econet Wireless. But winning the legal battle was just the beginning. Now he had to actually build the network. And he had no money. Strive went to every bank in Zimbabwe, asking for loans. They all said no. He went to international investors. They said no. Nobody believed a small African company could compete against the government-owned giant.
Strive was desperate, but then he made a decision that would change everything. He decided to raise money directly from the Zimbabwean people. He launched a public campaign asking ordinary citizens to invest in Econet. People responded. Teachers, nurses, shop owners, farmers. They bought shares in Econet. They believed in Strive's vision. Within months, he had raised enough capital to start building. In 1998, Econet Wireless launched its mobile phone service in Zimbabwe. The government-owned company had 300,000 subscribers. Within 2 years, Econet had over 1 million subscribers. People loved Econet because it was affordable, reliable, and customer-focused. Strive had proven that African companies could deliver world-class service. But Strive didn't stop at Zimbabwe. He expanded Econet to other African countries: Botswana, Lesotho, Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, Nigeria. By 2010, Econet was operating in 17 African countries.
Strive also ventured into other sectors. He launched Liquid Telecom, a fiber optic company connecting Africa to high-speed internet.
He invested in renewable energy, agriculture, and financial services. Today, Strive Masiyiwa is worth over $3 billion. His companies employ over 15,000 people across Africa. But what makes Strive truly remarkable is not his wealth, it's his integrity. Strive has never paid a bribe. He has never compromised his values. He runs his businesses with transparency and ethics. In a continent where corruption is often seen as normal, Strive stands as proof that you can succeed without cheating. Strive is also one of Africa's most generous philanthropists. Through the Higher Life Foundation, he has provided scholarships to over 250,000 African students. He has built schools, funded orphanages, and supported healthcare initiatives across the continent.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, Strive donated millions of dollars to help African countries fight the virus. He personally funded the purchase of vaccines, PPE, and medical equipment. When asked why he gives so much, Strive said, "I remember what it felt like to be poor. I remember what it felt like to be hungry. I remember what it felt like to have no hope. If I can help one child avoid that pain, then my success has meaning."
Strive Masiyiwa's story teaches us powerful lessons. First, never underestimate the power of faith. Strive's Christian faith sustained him through 6 years of legal battles. Second, integrity is not optional. You can be successful without corruption. Third, fight for what's right, even when it's expensive. Strive risked everything to challenge injustice. Fourth, perseverance beats talent. Strive wasn't the smartest or the richest, but he never quit. Fifth, use your success to lift others. Strive has impacted more lives through his giving than through his businesses. From cleaning toilets in Wales to building a telecommunications empire across Africa. From being rejected by his own government to changing the entire industry. Strive Masiyiwa proved that one person with courage, faith, and persistence can move mountains.
So, what did you learn from Strive Masiyiwa's story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible African success stories. Next week, we are bringing you the story of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, the Nigerian girl who was told women shouldn't write and became one of the world's most celebrated authors.
You don't want to miss it. Thank you for watching, and remember, your integrity is worth more than any amount of money, and your fight for justice is never in vain.